Hello everyone, this is John with the Simple Success Podcast, financial life coaching from a happiness perspective. I could chant like a Buddhist monk or something like that, or I could just answer questions for you and help you do the greatest thing you could ever do with your life. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to start today with Murphy Week. This is the Murphy Week portion of the podcast. I call it that because it comes from Dr. Joseph Murphy's book, How to Unleash the Power of Your Subconscious Mind. Some of you listening right now have a copy of that book since we sent it to you. In that book, Dr. Murphy leads us on a journey through an entire year with a positive affirmation for each of the 52 weeks. What's coming right now is where we are right now. So you don't get the wrong idea, I'm focused on helping you with real-world results. The meditative, even wishful thinking feeling that this can generate in some people is not there to mislead you, but rather to open yourself up to the idea that success comes from believing that you can. The relevant phrase for this week, I know and believe that I will receive a measure of life, love, truth, and beauty that transcends my boldest dreams. And now that we have that in mind, we go to a question that lots of people ask, and that question is, what is financial education? Well, that can be a lot of things to a lot of different people. This, however, is training through change, and the change comes through happiness, which leads to confidence. Let's say, for example, you want to know about the importance of financial education, or what is often referred to, this is a popular topic all the time now, financial literacy. How important is that? Well, it's critically important. How many times have you wondered about the meaning of financial education? Thought about why it is important? Wondered about the benefits? Even gone into a rabbit hole like, what do you learn if you get financial education? What's the 70-20-10 rule? Stuff like that. Assuming that it's hard. You don't need to worry about that stuff. But on the other hand, how many times have you wanted financial coaching? And not just for an investment or a financial thing. Remember, this is financial life coaching from a happiness perspective. But the same idea is true for any kind of life coaching. People use coaching for physical training. People use coaching for relationship training, for cooking, business, all kinds of things. In anything, you must have 100% confidence in what you are about to do. That's true for me. You have to account for that and get over it. Get a return. Start small. Let me give you a great example. Let's suppose I told you to go out and invest $40. And in 6 weeks, my advice to you then is going to be to sell that thing for $48. Now, let's not get into the numbers yet, or the time frame. Let's just get into your personal perspective. Based on other things in life, we're going to do what is known in psychology as framing. And you can take from this the idea that psychology is in everything, because it is. If you did exactly what I told you to do, bought something for 40, and 6 weeks later sold it for 48, what would you get? Well, you could look at that many different ways, even without getting into the time frame. The way most people are likely to look at it is to say, okay, I put in $40 and I got back 48. That leaves me $8. Profit. Change. Profit. The 6 weeks go by, I get $8. Oh, wait a minute. Big deal. I can't buy anything for that. That's 2 cups of coffee for crying out loud. Where's the happiness in that? Okay, now let's change the perspective. Let's flip the script. Here's what we're going to say. On day 1, I want you to invest $40. And after 6 weeks, I'm going to get you a guaranteed 20% ROI. Did I just pique your interest? Of course I did, because a 20% ROI is phenomenal. I mean, yes, there's better, but even 20% is double or more from what you should normally expect. As you'll learn if you don't already know, a reasonable rate of return, despite what Wall Street gurus might tell you, is 7 to 10%. And we'll get into that detail later. But based on that, and certainly based on what the bank's been paying you for the past couple of years on your savings account, a 20% ROI sounds pretty good. Well, here's the psychology. Putting up $40 and getting back 48 is exactly the same thing as a 20% ROI. Honestly, we're not getting into the time frame. Anybody who wants to pick me apart on that is welcome to do so. But there's nothing to pick apart given even that. It's no different, and it's what I want you to do. If you're not comfortable with putting up $100 or $1,000 or $1 million or $1 billion, well, let's say you don't have that because most people don't. I mean, I don't. But even so, you can still play the exact same game in a small and comfortable way. And we'll talk about how the point here is to get out there and do it. We'll also later talk about something called the knowing-doing gap, which is when you know how to solve a problem and yet you don't actually take the action because of one of any number of different possible reasons. And we'll get into that. For now, remember, this is Training Through Change, Happiness Change. In this Simple Success podcast, as well as in our webinars and masterclasses, we are very, very much going to want to hear your story. Well, to be real, I mean in future episodes of the podcasts, webinars, and masterclasses. This means your participation is critical to our mutual simple success. It's important to know how you think, what you've thought, what you've tried, and what you've been unsure of trying. We'll put this into a formalized thing in the future with ways you can contact us. It might be a special email or text you can do, or maybe even a phone to call and have recorded bits of yourself in the podcast. Today, we're going to make it great, and we're going to do what even we didn't think possible. Financial education? Why is it important? Is it a math class? Not really. There is that, but my goal is to make it fun. How can you get that financial education? That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to tell you about it, and I want to know your opinion. You'll be the recipient of some surveys from time to time. One segment might be the rabbit hole segment. Remember above we talked about questions which don't matter? Don't worry about it. If you can't do something about it, don't worry about it. Move on to the things you can do something about, or at least start there. Another possible segment that we're working on is the mantra segment, and I'll give you a specific example of that you can take away with it for free right now. Saving is you investing in you. What's the difference between saving and investing? I've heard people say. There isn't any difference, except remember, saving is you investing in you. You're taking out a part of the income that you're generating, whether it's through a job, some business that you have, a combination, some dividends, alimony from a previous marriage, lots of different possibles. When the money comes in, you're taking a percentage of it and putting it aside, not in the traditional guise of saving for some unknown thing that doesn't motivate you, but in the guise of I'm taking a percentage of what I make right now and I'm investing it in me so that I have choices in the future to do what I want when I want to do them. It's absolutely critical and brilliant at the same time. I want you to incorporate activities in your mind that involve doing things that benefit you, that are fun. That's what it's all about. The next possible segment is the explain and flip segment. A common phrase we hear all the time is don't invest money that you can't afford to lose. And while that's true on the surface, it should not be the reason that you don't. There's a commercial that comes to mind right now that's going around right now that I disagree with, and we'll talk about that sort of thing in the future, about how to avoid a negative mindset so that you can make money and have the choices that I was just talking about. And some or all of them might go away. They might be replaced by ones you'd tell us you'd rather hear. They might not be replaced at all. It's way too early to tell, but it's not too early to tell what's coming next week or next episode for those of you binging, and you're all binging, right? Next week, we're going to look at the question many people have been asking: why is the stock market soaring in a pandemic? Of course, we'll spend a few minutes on the long-term importance of the recent flurry of activity surrounding GameStop and short selling in general. Short selling can be the topic of many episodes, but honestly, I'm not trying to be trending here. In fact, one of my most basic ideas here, which I'm passing on to you, is long-term patience. Investing is like watching paint dry, instead of the popular conception that you have to strike at the moment and at no other. Financial life coaching from a happiness perspective. We'll be coming at you on a regular basis with podcasts, webinars, and masterclasses, together aimed at freeing you from the chains that the financial industry puts on all of us. Most of us don't even know what those chains are, and if I've learned anything in life, it's to not waste time trying to solve problems people don't even know they have. Let's go up to the common ground here. We can overcome, and we will do so. Join me for the ride of your life in a good way.